Hi, I'm Christopher Dunnigan. This is HandmadeInVermont.com, and today we're talking about the Hubbardton forged pendant called the Corona pendant. This is going to be the medium one. There's a small one that faces down. This is going to be the one that's about 27 inches in diameter. There's one larger than this as well. If you're unsure about which of the largest one, which is like 35 inches in diameter, or this one, just give me a call and I can walk you through that. It's very important. Let's get into the size of this fixture. This is the 1365-01. Like I said a second ago, this is 26.9 inches in diameter, so call it 27 if you like. The body of the fixture itself, which is going to be all the parts that are down below, independent of what it's hanging from, and I'll get into this in a second, that's going to be 21 inches high. And that's actually, that's all these parts. It's also, there's going to be a triangle of three pipes going up to what's called a distributor. And then from the distributor, it goes up from there. So really the distance from the top of the distributor to the bottom of the fixture, that is the 21 inches. So keep that in mind, okay? Let's get into a few other things. So Hubbardton Forge has a patent on this telescoping rod idea, where a smaller rod down here telescopes into a bigger rod. Where they come together is called a clutch, and there's a little set screw hiding right here. You can barely see it. Inside of this is a friction sleeve, and what happens is during your installation, you're going to be bringing this up and down to get it where you want it to be. When you have it where you want it to be, you're going to be using a little wrench and just tighten that up, and it's going to lock it into place so it doesn't go up and down anymore. We can see a lot more of this information on our website, so it's on the installations instructions, and we can look at that right now. If you're on the page for this, on HandmadeInVermont.com, look over on this side of the screen. Midway down, you're going to see a link. It's going to say, click here for installations instructions PDF. Open that up for me. So, great paperwork. This is all the stuff that's going to be, the papers that are going to be in the box when you get this. It's how it all goes together, which is super easy. It also shows you that this is going to be using a 5-inch round canopy that goes on your ceiling. It's going to go over a standard 4-inch junction box. This is what you guys have on your ceiling itself. This is coming in at 25.6 pounds. 25 pounds is right around where Underwriters Labs says we should tell you that this should hang from maybe a fan box or something attached to the structure of your building. Check with your installer about that, but it's coming in at all in 25.6 pounds is the hanging weight for the fixture itself. Okay, so we talked about a second ago that this is going to be a telescoping rod system. Now we get into the pull-down menu where it says choose your length. Now we're talking about overall height. We're not talking about parts of it anymore. So when we do that, you'll see that there's 3 different ranges that you can use to begin with. So the short is going to be 32.1 to 37.8, and remember that's going to be from the bottom of the fixture to the ceiling itself, right? Whole thing. Standard 37.6 to 48.5, long is 47.9, and that maxes out at 69.6, almost 70 inches coming down for the long. If you need this for you to be shorter than the short, so let's say you have a shorter ceiling or some kind of circumstance where you need it to be shorter than 32 inches or longer than 69.6, just drop me a quick email and say, I'm looking at the 1365-01, I need it to be X, and you're going to say a solid number. So you're going to say something like 28 or 26 or 96 or 102, a solid number. Email that to me. I'm going to take that. It's going to go over to Hubbardton Forge as an email thread, go through a couple engineers in a customs department, and come back to me with a quote. Most likely they're going to come back with a range that can encompass the number that you gave me, but it's important to kind of do it that way. There's a knuckle right there. So how this works is the knuckle allows us to bend in one direction. So you can see this is your slope, canopy is going to be like that, and it's going to be just like that. So you guys are automatically covered for that part of this equation. Okay. More on that. Let's hop into. Well, I'm going to touch on finishes really quick, just for a second. But later in the video is going to be more information on the finishes help guide stuff. So this is part of one of the Coronas, right? This is heavy forging. A lot of you guys are going to be looking at this fixture, the photograph of the fixture, and you're going to think that the inside of this is golden. And what's happening is the light source is actually, remember, it's inside of this. So this is going to be projecting light on the inside of the metal, and that's going to cause this to look lighter than the other sides of it. Remember, you can't see things in shadow that way. So keep in mind, the whole thing is going to be finished in one finish. There is another version of this that has kind of a brass accent on the bottom because some people did kind of like that goldenness. So jump over to that one if you guys get a chance, and that should take care of your love of the goldenness on the inside, if you want to call it that. But anyway, getting also back into heavy forging on this. When you have heavy forging and you have a translucent finish, you can also get what's called scale or slag, and I can actually see it on this, and you probably can't see it too much because this is an opaque finish on this piece. But in reality, there's a little bit of a rustication on this, you know. So if this were a lighter finish like burnished steel, and which is a translucent finish, you'd be able to tell and see these little kind of blotchy areas on that, which is an indication of forging. It's something we want to see, basically. So keep that in mind too, okay? The glass on this is this really cool piece of glass where it's clear on the outer part, and the inner part is actually a frosted tube. And what that's going to be doing is goes onto the, it screws on actually to the socket. So what happens is you're not going to be able to see the bulb, or you can see the bulb, but you're not going to see the glare of the bulb. It's a really beautifully made piece of glass, very intricate. And there you go. Hubbardton has access to the best glass blowers in the United States, if not the world, so they can really make these intricate, cool pieces of glass like this. Okay, let's move on to this part of it, which is really going to be important for you guys, and this is going to be what you can use as far as bulbs go. So Hubbardton kind of calls this a halogen fixture, which isn't completely true. When this was designed, there weren't that many options for G9 sockets, and that's the smaller socket with the little prongs that were available for LEDs. It is going to ship with little halogen bulbs, and you might as well use them. You're rated for 6 40-watt bulbs, so if you want to go with that, just pop them in. And you remember, when you're handling halogen bulbs, don't use your bare hands. Use a little tissue, because halogen bulbs don't like oils off of your hands. It diminishes their life. LEDs, it doesn't really matter. And getting into the LED story, these are just some of the LEDs that I found on the internet, like on Amazon, and 1001 bulbs. I think HandmadeInVermont.com has great bulbs. These are all LEDs that can work on this fixture. There's tons of them out there. So don't be afraid to experiment with these. If you want to know more about these kind of bulbs, you can always give me a call or drop me a quick email, and I could probably send you a link for some of these guys, because there's phosphorus ones. They have the orange inside of them. And then these guys that look like corn cobs are called cob LEDs, and they have all these other different facets, including on the end. So this is a 75-watt equivalent. This is either a 40 or a 60-watt equivalent. It's probably a 40-watt equivalent. But anyway, these will perfectly fit inside this glass, so you don't have to worry about them being too big. It's really just a matter of a lot of different little variables on LEDs, like wattage equivalents. That's something to think about. And don't forget, you've got 6 of these, so you don't have to go too nuts. I think the 40-watt equivalent would be fine for most people out there. It's a dimmable fixture. Put it on a dimmer if you guys want to do that, and tell your installer that you're using LEDs so they use the correct dimmer on the wall. That's going to be pretty important. And last but not least, I talk about this all the time with LEDs. Choose the color temperature of the light that you guys like. I tend to like that warm glow of an incandescent bulb. That's about 3000 Kelvin, 3000 K. When you're looking at bulb boxes, or if you're looking online, there's going to be a little chart, and it's going to have a little arrow on it. So the warmer ones, where that red is down there, that's like 2700 Kelvin to 3000 K. Way up here, this is that kind of white blue light that is called daylight, for a weird reason, because you kind of think of daylight as being warm, but it's really not. It's a white light. So that's going to be 4000, 5000 Kelvin. So kind of just choose the kind of color temperatures that you like. Some people like the warmer ones, like me. Some people like the cooler ones, and it's really up to you what you guys want to do with it. Let's get into finishes now. If you're on the HandmadeInVermont.com website, look over on this side of the screen. Midway down, you're going to see a tab. It's going to say Finishes Help Guide. Click on that for me. There's going to be a video on there of me talking to you guys about the differences in Hubbardton forged finishes and how they can look on different types of forging. I'm going to be talking about a chart a little farther down on the page. You'll see it next to me here. It's going to kind of go over the differences between heavy forging and non-heavy forging, and it'll be talked about in that video. So it's really important that you kind of watch the video, use the chart. You can click on that chart on different things. So you can click on dark smoke, and a big page will pop up and show you lots of different things in dark smoke. Click on burnished steel or natural iron, it'll do the same thing. But it's really important that you understand how Hubbardton forges finishes are kind of divided into translucent and opaque, and how they can look on different fixtures. Our showroom in Vermont has we're up to 400 Hubbardton Forge fixtures spread across 2 floors. We have a What's on Display page. It's way up there in those red tabs again, so click on that and you can see what we have to show you. That changes all the time because we're always adding things as they come out. Showroom's open every day except Sunday from 11 to 6. We have an amazing clearance center here too. Clearance center stuff is 75% off MSRP. It's returns, discontinued things, and showroom samples. If you were coming to visit us, bring a good-sized vehicle, something like a big SUV or maybe a small truck or something like that, because you might find something in the clearance center that you want to take home, and it's a lot of fun to go through. 75% off MSRP is an amazing bargain, so you should really take advantage of it if you can. Like I said, we're open every day except Sunday from 11 to 6. I'm here every day except Sunday from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern Time. You can call us at 802-446-2400 during business hours. You can email us 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, all the time. We love to answer emails. When you buy your Hubbardton Forge fixtures from HandmadeInVermont.com, shipping is free to every state except Alaska and Hawaii. There's no tax if we ship out of the state of Vermont, and we're the only dealer with 90-day returns and no restocking fees. No one else even comes close to that. Some larger items are non-returnable. We'll always tell you about that. It'll be in the description thing, that part of the description underneath on the very bottom. So keep an eye out for that. We also offer a rush program. Hubbardton Forge generally takes about 3 to 4 weeks to get product out. They don't stock anything. That's how you're going to get all your finishes, your adjustable ranges to play with, all those things. We can cut that time in half, and it's super inexpensive. If you want to know more, drop a quick email, and I can walk you through the whole thing, okay? So, if you guys have any other questions, let me know. Love to see you in our showroom sometime, and have a great day. Take care. Bye-bye.